Good afternoon, and thank you for watching THV 11 News at Noon. I'm Hayden Balgavy in for Michael Aaron this afternoon alongside Scott Covert. Scott, you know, we woke up this morning, we got here obviously early.
Right.
Chilly, cold, had the pea coat on. What you're telling me though, I can just put that pea coat in the closet all week.
You're not going to need it much at all this week. I've not been outside in a while, but I'm looking at temperatures on the map, and it is warm outside, certainly by late November standards. Here's satellite and radar, not a cloud in the sky. We are seeing plenty of sunshine all across the natural state. Your current temperature readings, upper 50s in Little Rock, low 60s across most of the area. Your forecast for today takes us all the way to 63 degrees. It is going to be an absolutely beautiful day, and it's only going to get better. Going into the end of the week, temperatures are going to continue climbing into the 70s. Our next best chance of rain arrives late this week into the weekend. We'll talk about the timing of that and how warm it's going to get coming up in your full forecast.
Our top story this afternoon, the Omicron variant, the new strain of COVID, was first identified in South Africa. Now, top scientists there are racing to find out if existing vaccines will stop its spread. Now, here in the U.S., President Biden is taking action as well, including new travel restrictions, which kicked in today. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
President Biden spent the morning huddled with his COVID response team discussing the newly discovered Omicron variant.
The things that we don't know right now is whether the people who do get infected have a severer form of the disease or whether it's a light disease or somewhat the same as Delta.
Today is the first day of travel restrictions in the United States, keeping non-U.S. citizens from entering the country from South Africa and 7 other nations. But the variant has spread well beyond southern Africa, reaching at least 14 countries, including our neighbor to the north, Canada.
If it's not here already, it's going to get here. The reason you do a travel ban is not that you think naively that you're going to keep it out, but it buys you a couple of weeks.
The administration's top health officials spent Thanksgiving weekend coordinating with South African scientists to learn just how dangerous this new variant may be.
Mostly what we know now is its rapid spread. It has certainly, in just the space of 2 or 3 weeks, become what appears to be the dominant variant in South Africa.
Omicron contains more than 30 mutations to its spike protein, prompting concerns from some it could be vaccine resistant. Vaccine manufacturers say it will take about 2 weeks to learn whether or not their drugs work against Omicron. Despite that, health officials say now is the time to get vaccinated or boosted. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
Dr. Anthony Fauci told CBS Mornings that there is no thought to instituting any new lockdowns as a result of the Omicron variant. Back here at home, here are the latest case numbers from over the weekend. On Sunday, health officials reported 374 new cases of COVID-19. Now, there is some good news. There were no new deaths reported, and active cases continue to drop. Over 5,000 Arkansans also received their vaccine. The trial of Jeffrey Epstein's former associate Ghislaine Maxwell is underway in New York. Maxwell faces several charges, including sex trafficking of minors and transporting a minor for criminal sexual activity. She faces a maximum of 70 years in prison if convicted. Mola Lange has more as jury selection continues.
Today, we announced charges against Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell's trial will focus on allegations made by teenage girls from 1994 to 2004. According to the indictment, Maxwell helped Jeffrey Epstein recruit, groom, and ultimately abuse victims as young as 14 years old. Maxwell is accused of befriending alleged victims, taking them to the movies or shopping. The indictment says Maxwell's presence during minor victims' interactions with Epstein helped put the victims at ease because an adult woman was present. Virginia Giuffre is not part of this case, though she says Maxwell recruited her in 2000, a claim Maxwell denies.
She is even worse than Epstein. She was pulling the strings. She had his money. He had her contacts. They made a great group that way, but Ghislaine was much more conniving and smart than Epstein ever was.
The alleged sex assaults happened at Epstein's New York mansion, his ranch in New Mexico, his home in Palm Beach, Florida, and Maxwell's home in London.
There are 6 counts in this indictment, the most severe of which is sexual trafficking of minors. If Ghislaine Maxwell is convicted of that count, she may spend the rest of her life in prison.
The 59-year-old has spent the last 17 months at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, not far from the federal prison in Manhattan, where Epstein died in August of 2019. His death was officially ruled a suicide. Maxwell's attorneys have repeatedly filed motions citing poor jail conditions and unfair treatment.
I've never seen anything like it. She's being treated horribly because of the negligence and what happened to Jeffrey Epstein.
The British socialite moved to the U.S. in the early 90s. Epstein and Maxwell, whom Epstein once called his best friend, rubbed elbows with philanthropists, business leaders, heads of state, and royalty. But Maxwell appeared to distance herself from Epstein in the years before his 2019 death. In a 2016 civil suit deposition, she denied knowing anything about Epstein's alleged wrongdoings. It's unclear if Maxwell will take the stand.
Most defense lawyers would say that Ghislaine Maxwell, under no circumstances, should testify in this case.
Well, this trial is expected to last 6 weeks. The first 4 weeks, the prosecution will lay out its case against Maxwell, after which they'll turn it over to Maxwell's defense. Mo Lalengi, CBS News, Manhattan.
Meanwhile, the trial of Josh Duggar is set to begin tomorrow. The former star of TLC's 19 Kids and Counting faces 2 counts of downloading and possessing child pornography. The judge in the case called tomorrow's hearing after the prosecution presented 2 new witnesses to testify about a previous case. A subpoena has been issued for Josh's dad, Jim Bob Duggar, who's running for a state Senate seat, and a family friend named Bobby Holt. Of course, we'll work to bring you updates in this trial throughout the week. New at noon, the state has approved 2 new legislative district maps. The new maps, one for the House and one for the Senate, have been open to public comment for the last 30 days. And this morning, Governor Asa Hutchinson, Attorney General Leslie Rutledge, and Secretary of State John Thurston gave them final approval. There is now a 30-day period for any legal challenges that may arise. You know, Cyber Monday is traditionally the biggest online shopping day of the year, but supply chain issues could make some holiday gifts difficult to get. Laura Podesta reports.
The search for Cyber Monday deals is underway following a busy weekend of online shopping. Top-selling products include toys, books, video games, and appliances. Adobe Analytics says today retailers are offering big discounts on televisions.
If you're looking to make that upgrade to a new TV, then Cyber Monday is going to be your day for that.
TVs and thousands of other products are being handled at Amazon fulfillment centers. This one in New Jersey is 28 football fields in length, and there are hundreds more like it worldwide.
There are more than 750,000 employees working across our operations buildings.
Amazon says globally, customers ordered 1,600 products per second on Black Friday, and today could be even busier. Retail analysts predict online shoppers will spend a record $11.3 billion on Cyber Monday. But a shipping bottleneck and trucking delays are making it difficult for retailers to deliver. Adobe Analytics says out-of-stock messages in November are up 124% from pre-pandemic levels. The most common out-of-stock items are appliances, electronics, housekeeping supplies, and home and garden items.
We've seen that consumers are planning ahead. They started earlier in terms of their shopping.
Experts say shoppers looking for something specific should buy it now because it might not be around long. Laura Podesta, CBS News, Robbinsville, New Jersey.
FedEx and the U.S. Postal Service say you need to ship by December 15th if you want your package to arrive on time for Christmas. And as the holiday shopping season picks up, law enforcement is recommending some simple steps to make sure you don't become a victim of a porch pirate. Bryant police say they've already received several reports of thieves stealing packages from people's homes. Now, they say an easy way to make sure you stay safe is to invest in things like cameras or lights for your home. Also, consider having your package delivered to work or to a neighbor's house.
Have your neighbors watch your house, you watch their house. That's another key thing. Watch each other's back in the neighborhoods, and they know that you're doing that, the thieves will move on.
Police also recommend having packages sent to your workplace or leaving special instructions for delivery drivers. And if you do find yourself a victim of a porch pirate, having recordings of someone stealing those packages makes tracking them down a lot easier. who insists they can tell when it's going to rain because their joints start to ache or their head starts to hurt. But is this a real thing? We're going to find out some answers still ahead. Scott?
None of my joints are aching, so I can tell you it's not going to rain today. It's been an absolutely gorgeous morning, and it's just going to get better from here. What the rest of the week's weather has in store coming up after the break.